Good evening, West Texas. And all of you listening online, welcome to the Texas Town Square Media Network. Extended coverage this evening. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin hanging out in studio. We'll have election coverage for you this evening. A lot of big weather happening around the listening area. We'll take a look at the weather here in just a few minutes. 806-680-2790 is that number to text the show. Like to weigh in, we'd love to hear from you. On the air this evening till 8 o'clock. For everyone except you folks up in Amarillo, you'll have the Sod Poodles game, but if you want to stay with the show, you can go to KFYO.com and live stream the show there. I guess Sod Poodles down in Midland today.
Sod Poodles down in Midland,
they're going to play, so then the weather's not going to get them. So
there's like, at the most, one of the hours during our listing time has a 40% chance, and then it drops off pretty quick after that.
Well, let me just take a quick look at the weather. And what I want to say, folks, is this is a very, very slow-moving front. This thing started like Roswell-Carlsbad last night, and it has just slowly creeped. Yes, it interrupted me flying this morning. It just slowly creeped. I'll get a text. Did you fly? I almost could have. It was close, but I'd have got boxed in, and it hit right when I would have been in the air. It slowly moved, and the front itself is just east of Lubbock right now. I mean, it is, that front boundary comes across the east loop of Lubbock, so it's very slow moving. And so a lot of big rain, but what's interesting about these storms is that they're just dumping a lot of water because they're moving so slow. So you keep an eye on that. So the biggest development is in the southeast corner of the Abilene listening area. A pretty big flood watch, flood warning, special weather from Coleman all the way down, the bulk of it in Brady and San Saba, if you're picking up the signal that far down. And you might. In this weather, you can hear a long way. Our signal will carry. So if you're listening down in that area, big weather down there. Coleman, you're getting some. Abilene, most of it is through. You've got another little cell, a little bit of moisture coming up from the south. In between Haskell and Breckenridge, another strong thunderstorm there. On the radar. Let's see, we've got another area between Paducah and Seymour. Paducah as well in its own thunderstorm watch area. We've got a big line of thunderstorms from Rawls stretching over to Paducah, headed north towards you, Paducah. And Floydada, you're going to get some of it as well. Tulia, a lot of this stuff headed towards Tulia and will stretch all the way over to Childress and probably Vernon. Wichita Falls, there's some stuff back building south of you, but nothing big there. Amarillo, you're going to get, this thing started out, it was running kind of east, northeast, and the winds have shifted out of the south, and they're pushing this thing up and back, kind of wrapping back around. Now, I don't see any rotation in any of this. I don't see any mesocyclones in it, but just keep an eye on your local weather. Those meteorologists have some pretty good data products, and they're able to keep their eyes on it the whole time. But Amarillo, you're boxed into right now it's just a special weather notice, just telling us, hey, there's a bunch of rain out there. Nothing severe at the moment, but it just drops a lot. So what's happening is I haven't really seen any red boxes pop up today, but I've seen a lot of flood warnings and special weather statements just saying, hey, these are going to be a lot of storms just spin up. It's popping stuff up. But now it's starting to kind of turn back across to the northwest, and it's headed in your direction, Amarillo. A little bit of severe cells, but not a whole lot. So anyway, today has been a day for campaign text, Ken.
I have probably
I have 2 phones.
I've probably got, I don't know, no less than 10, maybe 12 text messages. I stopped counting,
I have two phones.
Four of them were for
I
one
have
candidate.
Two iPads tied to a phone. So I got 4 devices and my watch going. I have a lot of Apple products. Everything going off today like crazy. I'm so ready for it to be over.
I went through and turned off notifications, so it wasn't popping up on my watch, wasn't popping up on the iPad or anything. So
I need to know. I need my messages. I did get one message yesterday in the middle of the Memorial Day services. I was kind of shocked that someone would send a message out in the middle of Memorial Day, but there's text going out. I don't know.
I think that the way a lot of this happens, it's not necessarily the number of text. A lot of times you pay for the number of impressions or the number of deliveries, and I just think whoever the text provider was trying to get all of them in so that they could get paid.
That could be it.
I know that does happen.
They did a buyout.
You want to set parameters. You want to hopefully have somebody thinking ahead enough that doesn't happen.
Well, and sometimes the way I've seen some of this happen is you just give an amount of money and say, run a texting campaign. Here's the different messages. And if you want to change your message midstream, you can call or email like, hey, change my message to this. And they just set the intervals up. And some of them and you get different intervals in different towns, and they can even geofence these things where you get them when you walk near a polling location, and they're very area specific. You go into Austin and you'll start getting them for their local stuff, and you'll stop getting them for your stuff. A lot of it's geofenced. It's not just a phone list.
Generally what I've done when I have helped manage campaigns or helped direct with campaigns is try to do certain messages to certain geographies, certain groups of people, because you don't want everything to be just totally broadcasted, because you've got a lot of these candidates have different messages and they want to make sure it gets directed to those voters that it will make a difference to. So you have this message here, this message there, and that's the smart way of doing it. Now sometimes it ends up costing a little more because the cost per thousand ends up running a little more as you close the geography in a little bit. But it's a lot of the campaigns trying to make use of every angle that they can to get somebody vote, because I think we're going to, turnout is obviously going to be key on this one. And talking about turnout, I'll talk a little bit later about some turnout on some of the counties where Cornyn did well are actually exceeding where the counties that Paxton did well. So I don't know if that's going to make a big difference since the Trump endorsement or not, but we can talk about that here in a little bit. So
I don't know. I mean, and all of this is going to be moot when we get early voter numbers. We'll be able to say, "See, I told you so."
Well, at this point, it's all speculation.
Every bit of it's speculation. So, what I can tell you, and I don't know how this. So let's talk about the TX19 race. Tom Sell and Abraham Enriquez. I think age is going to matter a lot, and I know there was a lot of older voters turned out in that race. That I did see some data over the weekend that suggests that there is some older voters in that.
Older voters tend to vote more consistently, and generally in runoffs that'll run depending on the race, 3 to 5 years older than what happens in the primary.
Yeah, for sure. And, one of the voting locations I go to, when we stopped in there, my daughter went to vote, and they said, "You're the youngest person we've seen all week." And that was just down there at 114th and Slide. So, how much that plays into it, I don't know. And of course we've got, there's a lot of rural vote that happens, out in the, a lot of rural vote happening out in TX19. I'm watching the weather here, so I'm going back and forth. A lot of rural vote, and so of course. Older. So let's go back to when Congressman Arrington was in a primary against Glenn Robinson, or former Mayor Glenn Robinson of Lubbock. So Congressman Arrington was not the high vote getter in the primary, but in the runoff, he pulled it off. And one of the things he told me, he said, man, I went out and I worked the rural areas very heavy. And if I had not won the rules, I wouldn't have won this thing. And so you don't win it because of them, but you sure don't win it without them. Oh, it's really, and I saw both candidates really making a hard push in the last couple of weeks leading up into early voting. So really working the various areas and working the votes, man, trying to rock the vote and get them turned out.
So we've seen where in the counties where Cornyn did better than Paxton, Harris, Tarrant, Dallas, Behar, Denton, Travis, Williamson, Lubbock, Smith, those counties have had higher turnout in early from the voting this time on early voting for the runoff than the Paxton leaning counties, which is Collin, Montgomery, Fort Bend, Galveston, Brazoria, Comal, Parker, and I don't know if that's going to make as much a difference. I think around the state I've been seeing where the turnout is going to be somewhat lower than expected for day of, though early voting was higher. I think that follows suit with what happened in the primary. I think we were all expecting the election day to be higher, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I agree. And the weather.
And the weather is.
I mean, just
weather's a factor, but I don't think it's
Lubbock,
a factor.
Lubbock at 4:30, we were 4,100 votes. I mean, I really expect with 16,000. Usually you exceed your early voting data. So I expected 10 to 15 today, and we might have had 10 to 15. Now, we're going to get a big push, 5 to 7. What's going to happen? People get off work. There's always an election day push after 5 o'clock, leading right up to the polls. So just remember, if you're in line at 7 o'clock, you'll get to vote. So get there, be in line. As long as you're in line, they will let you vote. And once those locations go offline, we'll start getting some early voting numbers. We'll keep an eye on it. Steve and Ken hanging out with you. We'll take the break. 806-680-2790. You'd like to send us a message. Back in a moment.
Song of the South.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
When I'm driving, I look twice for motorcycles.
I look twice because motorcycles are easy to miss.
I look twice just in case a motorcycle's in my blind spot.
I look twice at intersections and before I turn left.
I look twice because I want to know for sure.
I look twice for motorcycles because I don't want to hurt anyone.
Look twice for motorcycles. There's a life riding on it. A message from Texas Department of Transportation.
The Car Pro, Jerry Reynolds here. Tune in to KFYO every Thursday morning for my test drive of the week. I'll join Sunrise LBK's Tom Collins and Matt Crow as I share dealership tips and bring confidence back to the car buying process. Every Thursday morning at 7:30 right here on KFYO.
Celebrate with KFYO. It's the Window World 20th Anniversary $10,000 giveaway. Beginning Tuesday, May 26th, enter at the Window World Showroom, 5004 Frankfurt Avenue. You could be the first to win one of 6 premium Larson storm doors installed in your home. Each is valued up to $1,800. No purchase necessary. See contest details and rules at KFYO.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
News Talk, KFYO, and the KFYO app.
Hello, West Texas. Ken Corbin and Steve Evans here for you today on the Texas Town Square Network. And we've got a few things that going on. Obviously, the big election. Nice rain for a big part of the listening area. It's one of those, it's a good soaker. This is the type that my yard loves. This will green up by the weekend. And I think that going into it, some of you might be getting ready to get in line. Some of you might not be. But, okay, we know the statewide election. We know what's going on there. We got John Cornyn, Ken Paxton for U.S. Senator. And for Lubbock and Abilene, you got U.S. Representative District 19. We've got Tom Sell and Abraham Enriquez. And then we have Attorney General. We have Chip Roy and Mays Middleton. Railroad Commissioner, there's Jim Wright and Beau French. And Judge for the Court of Criminal Appeals, Place 3, we got Thomas Smith and Allison Fox. Now, that's what everybody in the listening area has that on their ballot. And that's from the Republican side. Now, most everybody has on the Democrat. I didn't see where there was any contested Democrats. Now, I could have missed one, but I didn't think to look through it. So for Lieutenant Governor, we have Marcos Isaias Velez against Vicky Goodwin. And Attorney General, it's Nathan Johnson and Joe Jaworski. So that's on everybody's. If you happen to be voting in the Democrat primary, if you're listening to this show, I'm kind of wondering, just must be doing reconnaissance or something. Okay, so for Potter County, it's the aforementioned ones that are running on the Republican. So for Potter, you have Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Brian Tackett and Amanda Mayfield's on your ballot. And as we go forward here on some of the other counties, so Lubbock County, you've got a couple of extra ones that some of the other ones don't have. You have County Commissioner Precinct 2. You have Trey Newton and Kevin Pounds. That's on one of your ballots. And you have Mary Hernandez and Tracy Baxa for the JP in Precinct 3. And then you have in Precinct 4 County Commissioner, you have Jordan Rackler and Chad C. And then for those of you in Randall, you have Judge for the County Court of Law number 1. You have Paul Herman and Claire Hamker Grammer. I hope I said all that right. And let's see, we've got Wichita County. You have a county judge race, Mark Adora and Rick Hatcher. There was quite a few people that were in that race, and so that's what it comes down to on that. So we'll know. So we've made contact with the various elections offices, asked for it to be updated, got directed where to find some of it. Some of it's going to be emailed, but we'll be able to let you know from between 7 and 8 o'clock. Hopefully all the early voting numbers will be in, or most of them, where we can tell you what's going on kind of around the state, what we expect to happen, and then we will finish up at 8 o'clock and start all over again tomorrow. And you'll be able to find out, from the various websites, the various elections offices, and the Secretary of State on the statewide stuff, how everything's doing. And those of us up here in the Lubbock area were following the Texas Tech Red Raiders. We were following the softball, and it got a little contentious for a while. We've had, we got one of our, big hitters was hit, and she got hit 5 times. We'll go ahead and we'll name it here in a minute. But the big thing was the Florida softball skipped the post-game handshakes, and Jerry Glasgow had a brief response. He said, just proud of his girls. That was basically the extent of it. He said, just proud of my team, and that was his only response when asked about it. He didn't get into any back and forth. He just smiled, and that's what he had to say. The Tech softball, they managed to go out and run rule Florida Gators. eliminating them from the Gainesville Super Regional. They beat them 16-7 in 5 innings. That was a big game. Tech bats for the first game and third game just laid it on, and so there's you could go on the social media and see all the back and forth on that, and just to update those of you in Amarillo, we're going to be leaving about 6:10 or so, and it's going to be the Sod Poodles versus the Midland Rockhounds, and that'll be an interesting game. That's kind of a rivalry because those are the two closest together in this particular league, and I think it'll be fun having the Sod Poodles having back on KIXZ 940 up in Amarillo. So as we go on, there's quite a few things to talk about. We've got, like I said, we've got the elections. That's the big thing. If you've got, I don't have the texter in front of me. I hadn't pulled that up. I was running a little behind this morning. But one of the things that I found, I'll wait till Steve gets back to talk about that. So those of you that are Texas Rangers fans, so one of the things that's going on at the ballpark there in Arlington, it's going to be fun. The Red Raiders are going to take over Arlington, and there's going to be, the Texas Tech is going to be, live, it's going to be Texas Tech night at the ballpark, and they're going to have different things that they hand out, at Globe Life Field, and the Rangers are going to be taking on Houston Astros, and so that ought to be a lot of fun. That's going to be on the 28th here, and there's going to be a rally ahead of time from 4:30 to 6:30 that you're welcome to, and if not, just show up at the 28th and go to the ballpark. That ought to be a lot of fun. So going looking at the various ballots. Now I think that we've had a lot of decent early voting, especially if you're in the CD19. I think the CD19 race, and also the fact for Lubbock that we've had several other races that are coming up. So we'll talk about that more. You're listening to the Texas Town Square Network. Ken Corbin in with Steve Evans, and we'll be back after these messages.
On air and online, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending a text at 806-680-2790.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Pedal to the metal. Greased lightning. Burn rubber. Make tracks. Full gas. Whatever you call it, it's speeding. And a heavy foot can cost you a heavy fine. Or more. Speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas, many of them fatal. Slow down, be safe, drive smart, and take it easy. A message from the Texas Department of Transportation.
Headlines. At long last, we'll get an answer tonight who will represent the Republicans in the state race for U.S. Senate. The incumbent is John Cornyn, but the president has endorsed Attorney General Ken Paxton. Cornyn says Paxton's political baggage and scandals will not sit well in the general election against State Rep James Tallarico. Paxton says Cornyn is trying to campaign to Democrats because he knows he's lost Republicans. Polls open to 7. Parts of the Panhandle in western Texas could get storms. Much of the rain will clear out tomorrow. Texas A&M now the home to a centrifuge that can reduce the pull of the Earth's gravity. NASA researchers were having to travel outside the U.S. to use a similar lab in Germany. The lab can create an environment similar to the moon's gravity or even gravity on Mars. Wallet Hub ranks Plano as the fourth best place in the country to raise a family. The only cities higher: Fremont, California, Overland Park, Kansas, and Irvine, California. With your Texas News headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
Out here on the job site, you need equipment that shows up and gets it done. That's how we do it at ASCO Equipment with Case Construction. Right now, you can get into a Case skid steer, compact track loader, or a mini excavator for 0% financing for up to 72 months, and a $1,000 attachment credit, and first-year physical damage insurance, and a $750 Productivity Plus credit after your Case check-in visit. That's more muscle, more value, and more reasons to put Case Construction equipment on your job site. Stop by your local ASCO or visit ASCOEQ.com to get yours today.
You smell that? Spring. Hibernation's over. It's time to run it. Run it until the grass becomes long and the hedges duck and cover. Then run it again. Still, get up to $50 off select AK battery tool sets. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
This Tuesday evening is a chance for rain and thunderstorms at 50% as temperatures will fall around 56 degrees for our morning low. Meteorologist Ron Roberts in Lubbock's official weather station News Talk KFYO.
Financial news on KFYO.
I'm Dan Loney with Your Money Now. Qualcomm has reached a deal with TikTok owner ByteDance to supply chips for AI data centers. That push, Qualcomm shares up 4.5% on Tuesday. ByteDance will get millions of application-specific integrated circuits to support its AI agent software. British energy giant BP has unanimously removed Chairman Albert Manifold immediately. The board cited governance concerns and conduct issues. Shares of BP were down almost 4% today on the news. Eli Lilly is set to acquire 3 companies in deals that will total about $4 billion. It will acquire vaccine company Curvo for $1.5 billion. It will also purchase biotech Limitech for $780 million and vaccine company for $1.55 billion. Wall Street starting the week with mixed results, but records for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Dow lost 118 points, ending the day at 50,461. NASDAQ picked up 312. S&P 500 gained 445. That's Your Money Now.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text SPARK to 215215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPARK to 215215. That's SPARK to 215215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Thinking about starting your GLP-1 journey? Go to orderlymeds.com/radio. Get access to proven GLP-1 medications, licensed providers, and a plan built for real life. All online. No guesswork, no wasted time. Just real people, real answers, real momentum, and support that actually lasts. Join thousands already seeing results. Start now at orderlymeds.com/radio. orderlymeds.com/radio. Individual results may vary, not medical advice. Eligibility required. See site for details.
After 98 years, we're still on the air. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Empowering West Texas with news that matters. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO. Hey, welcome back. 806-680-2790. Would like to send a message. Love to hear from you. Couple on the text line. Hollywood says, Hope Cowboy John Cornyn, Big John, is gone tonight. Drugstore Cowboy John Cornyn gone tonight. Careful what you wish for. Let's see. 773 has a couple in and says, What is the historical ratio of early voters to election day voters in midterm primary runoffs? There's no way to give you that data. It's usually you have, I'm going to say, sometimes it's 50% of your, historically it's 50% of your election day, early vote will vote election day. Sometimes it's double.
So I've got some of that. I actually have some
varies.
of that data.
We do have some data from Lubbock on historic. This is the largest primary runoff in Lubbock County, turnout-wise, that I've ever seen.
So it's the largest in the last 20 years, because that's how far back they went with some of the data. And looking at this is ballparking, there's some years where it is 75% on
just
runoff.
Jump to 22 real quick. So 6,100 votes on election day versus 10,000 early votes gave us 16,000 votes. If you look at, I was looking at one where it's the other way. Sometimes it's the other way around. Like you go back to 2012, you had 9,000 early votes, 6,800 election day votes. Sometimes we see those numbers flip in a primary versus, or in a general election. Sometimes your election day vote is more than your early vote. It just depends on the area.
Age, area, I think that's a big factor. And I think the older the voter, the more that I think that favors what might be considered establishment Republicans, at some points. And I think that as we go through certain areas, I think the rural tends to vote a little more establishment, but not always. I think that they're going to vote first on whether or not they think you're conservative, and then second, what you've done or what you might do for those in agriculture. Because if you've shown great support for the farm bill, you've done a lot of campaigning out there and let the rural votes see you. Because believe me, they see you at an event, then the coffee shop and the co-op gin and the John Deere house. I mean, they'll talk among themselves quite heavily.
For sure. Let's go back to the farm bill for just a second, because, and I harp on this all the time, is, well, we've got candidates that'll say the farmers are suffering, and we need to do more for the farmers, and the farm bill's garbage, and then, okay, hold on just a second. If there's farmers listening, weigh in. 806-680-2790. Cotton farmers, if we got cotton over $1 a pound, they would not use the farm bill. The farm bill is an insurance plan. It's in case you fail.
It's an insurance plan.
If you succeed and your farm succeeds, you don't use the farm bill. I don't know where this idea came that we're going to go out and conservatives are going to go out and campaign for the farmers are starving, let's give them more. Is that what we did with the auto bailout? We're not, the idea is not to bail out anybody.
Most farmers want an even playing field. The problem is that so many of our commodities are up against government subsidized,
heavily subsidized, and global subsidies. We're trading cotton on the global market.
And we're seeing, whether it be France for some commodities, or we're seeing Brazil, or whichever country you want, or Argentina, whichever country you want to name, they all heavily subsidize a lot of their agriculture. Sure, and our farmers who would rather not have any subsidies have to compete with that. And sometimes these prices get below what their cost of inputs are.
Absolutely. And
so what
or
do you do?
They have a drought and they get below, I don't know, it varies. I think 500 pounds per acre. They get below that, and it costs too much to harvest it. It's not worth anything. And the FSA office will come over and say, you can file on this, turn it under. And they go check.
And one thing that's not talked about enough, I don't think, when it comes to agriculture is the simple fact that a vibrant agricultural areas like West Texas, or whether you go Alabama or whether you go California, we have to maintain a good ag economy for our local farmers because honestly, that is national defense, whether you like it or not. If we become overly dependent on consumable food items, consumable fiber, and even up until Trump said drill baby drill, on oil, that's national defense. If we're dependent on forces outside our country, we are under their thumb, whether we want to admit it or not.
You know, I'd rather have the discussion of how are we going to look at trade practices? How are we going to look at trade negotiations? What are we going to do to make the crop worth more? I mean, yes. You start talking about 50 cents a pound cotton, that doesn't do anybody any good. Farmers are losing when they put it in the field. I mean, they're already upside down in their crop. This is what we need to be looking at. And then, you know, my business is dependent on farmers doing well. It's dependent on cotton ginners doing well, and it dependent on them buying machinery. I have no subsidy program. If we have a bad year all across the United States, my company suffers, and there is no subsidy program to bail us out. There's no insurance program.
Well, a lot of times you can tell how ag's doing by the amount of ag advertising you hear on KFYO. I mean, that we run the most, you know, ag news and ag features. You can combine everybody else in radio in Lubbock and West Texas, and outside of one station, nobody does what we does. That we do out here, and that there's a station up in Amarillo, but still we do. You can tell how it's going by those numbers.
So it's interesting is it's one thing to say we need to do more for the farmer, but what is that?
It's a you know 2 or 3 pronged front at minimum in my book, and I think a lot of that is, you know, Trump negotiating as he goes out in these various countries. You know, basically he needs to put the squeeze. You stop subsidizing your agriculture to the extent that it's detrimental to the rest of the world. Because if it's subsidized in Argentina, that affects not just us, but affects, you know, France, it affects India, it affects, you know, China, it affects everybody else. And so everybody else feels they have to do it, and it just starts escalating to what point, to what end.
You know, this is what happened when cotton was pulled out of Title I, out of the Farm Bill. Is I don't know why we allowed Brazil to sue us.
The WTO's a joke.
Right. They sued us for our subsidy program. But, man, I can tell you, working over in Brazil, they heavily subsidized the front end of their farmers. Fuel, their seed does not cost, their technology seed does not cost even a fraction of what it costs over here in the United States. It doesn't. They buy their seed a lot cheaper. Their input costs are a lot cheaper. I believe their farm machines are subsidized. And over there, and I do a lot of business over there. I'm not knocking them. It's just that not every government's economy and every government's ag program is the same as ours. But we have to all trade on a global market equally with everybody else. A farmer can't just go out and harvest a bale of cotton and just trade it to China or somewhere that spins it. They've got to go through a network and go through government regulations on it to export the cotton. Plus, the government takes $1 a bale right off the top. If you go out here and you can plant cotton in a field, maybe you buy some property, you can plant cotton all you want, but you can't sell any of it without paying $1 a bale entitlement. And that's to the cotton board, and that pays for the cotton logo and the advertising and all of the marketing that you get when it comes back and is sold to, you know, for the entire national marketing program. And that is an all-encompassing deal. You can also put it into loan. There's government loans. It's a very, very complicated thing, the way cotton works. And I'm not sure I understand it completely. I'm not sure that people that are in the business always understand exactly how it works. It's just, you know, there's different grades of cotton. You may make a whole bunch of cotton and it may not be worth anything. And it always seems like the spinners and the people that buy the cotton, you never produce what they want. This year they want a different staple, a different color, a different strength, and next year you'll raise something a little bit different or put a different variety in, and that's not what they want. They always want not what the farmers are growing, or not what grew well.
Might be for fine sheets, or it could be the proverbial blue jeans and mattress stuffing.
Well, we don't make fine sheet cotton out here. That's Pima cotton. That's, you know, primarily. We have a little bit left in the United States. We used to have a lot. It's coming back a little bit, but the cotton that's produced out here in West Texas, that's Wrangler jeans, kind of short staple. That is a very tough cotton. That's what your blue jeans are made out of, and that's what we produce out here. Your long staple stuff made more in India. some very little bit in Africa, but we do have a few El Paso, and there is some gins out here in the listening area. Just back towards New Mexico.
Basically, the better the grade, the higher price you get.
Absolutely. The strength, the grade, the staple, the length, color, the trash content, not dirty. I mean, all of that is criteria that's looked at to grade cotton, and that determines the price. So when we say cotton's trading for 98 cents a pound, that's a certain grade of cotton. That may not, that's the baseline. And then there's penalties and discounts off of that based on how it grades out at the classing office. Got to take a break. 806-680-2790. Back in a moment.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Do you have kids? Then you know the importance of properly installing their car seats and buckling them up correctly to protect them from injuries. Unfortunately, most parents think their children are safely buckled, but that's not always the case. Visit SaveMeWithASeat.org to easily sign up for a free car seat inspection near you. Keep your kids safe with properly installed car seats and by buckling them up correctly so you can save them with a seat. Brought to you by TxDOT.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Every hour of every day, Fox News Radio is there with the latest breaking news and information you rely on.
This is the Fox News Alert.
I'm Lisa Brady.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. With Fox News correspondents around the globe.
At the White House, Simon Owen in London.
On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The news that matters most to you. The top headlines, all in one place. America is listening to Fox News Radio.
Heard right here on News Talk KFYO.
Fox on Tech.
A California jury found that Meta and YouTube harmed a young girl with addictive features that led to mental health issues. Many are hoping this will open the gates to many more lawsuits and for bipartisan calls to change or let lapse Section 230. Section 230 has been around for 30 years and shields big tech companies from liability for what users post online. Many argue it has become outdated compared to the rapid growth of social media. Senator Dick Durbin posted, quote, "These back-to-back decisions in New Mexico and California show that big tech has become big tobacco. Now it's time for Congress to sunset Section 230 once and for all." Some of those efforts have faced intense pushback from industry groups that argue ending 230 could lead to censorship. With Fox on Tech, Connor Hansen, Fox Business.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
In West Texas, things can change fast. A blue sky turns to a dust storm or a local issue becomes national news. That's why you need a station that doesn't just keep up. It leads. When storms hit, when elections are too close to call, or the streets in town are closed. No fluff, no delay, just the information you need when it matters most. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
This is Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro. Don't forget to catch me on Sunrise LBK every Thursday morning at 7:30 as I answer your questions and recap the latest in automotive news with Tom Collins and Matt Crow.
Hey, welcome back. 806-680-279. Had a texter asking about polling data. I don't have a lot in front of me, but what I can tell you is there was two polls that I saw that happened after Donald Trump made his endorsement of
Kim Paxton.
And so, and I got a texture too that says Big John's has never owned a ranch or a farm. I don't think Paxton has either that I know of.
Yeah, neither.
But anyway, so Paxton and Cornyn were polling within a couple of points of each other for a while.
Yeah, on the margin of error.
Yeah, inside the margin of error. And then the only two polls that I saw that happened after the president endorsed, Paxton shot up in the polls +9. I saw one that was +21. I don't believe that, but I'm going to bet you Paxton probably takes it by 8%. There's still areas where John Cornyn's still popular. He's not going to be out here, but he's still popular.
5% is kind of where I see it at this point, and it just depends on turnout today.
Okay, you say 5, I'll say 8. I'll say
okay.
I don't know. Now I'm going back on that now because I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, after seeing some of the counties that are turning out heavily, and those were counties that were very much Cornyn was one of those counties.
Yeah, and it may, and I think everybody might be surprised.
I think that'll offset some of Trump's endorsement.
It could, and it depends on age. I believe the older voter is probably going to vote for John Cornyn.
I think the big factor, like I talked about when you were gone on the show that I did by myself, I went out and laid out the pros and cons of both candidates. But the big thing on Paxton is he's morally challenged.
How much do you think that plays?
Well, I would have thought a little less going into this round.
Let's say let's say 50 plus vote. Let's go a little bit older. Let's go 60 plus. How important to that is the 60 plus voter?
I think for about 20-25% of the voter, I think it matters a lot more than it does, say, for the
20 to 25% of 60 plus. It matters. I would think it was much more of the 60 plus.
I think it's that much more it matters than say the 18 to 40 year olds.
Do you think it matters more to women than it does to men?
Well, if the two of the women I talked to this weekend and asked them their thoughts on it, boy, they sure went after Paxton. Like I was like, whoa, and I would have expected them under normal circumstances would have voted for Paxton, as conservative as he is, but that they just couldn't get past that, and I don't blame them.
You saw Cornyn's campaign kind of hammer on that a little bit, but not a lot.
Not near enough, in my opinion. I would have hit him between the eyes with it every chance I got.
He could have got all of the supposed women that popped up and just had them, started campaigning with them.
I would have. If I was Cornyn, I would have taken Angela Paxton out on the road with me if she had gone.
I bet she wouldn't go.
No, but I said I would have. Let's put it this way: I sure would have asked if I was in that campaign.
It would have been just, please leave me alone. Let's see. Didn't early voting really begin before Trump endorsed? A day before. He endorsed on, was it Tuesday? Did he endorse on Tuesday, or did he endorse on Monday?
Yeah, he endorsed that.
Early voting had started before he did
but there wasn't a ton of voting had occurred by the time it happened.
I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday. the day he endorsed. I'll have to go back and look now. I don't remember.
I think it was Monday afternoon. If I was,
I'm going to tell you, last week went by, and I vaguely remember it. I mean, it was one of those weeks when it just. I feel like I've lost a week. You know, I don't even know where I'm at the moment. It went by so fast. Let's see. I don't see where. I'm looking here. Everybody just wait while I look this up.
Looks like I could go through and search my press releases.
Yeah, I've got one. Let's see. Well, it was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. Okay, so
yeah, Tuesday, and it was
about a day and a half.
It was I saw it about 11 o'clock on Tuesday, somewhere around there. Let's see. I've listened to your election coverage for years. Chad and I were good friends. I've listened to your election coverage for years. Chad and I were good friends. No offense. This time, a little hard to listen to without Chad. It was a little hard to do without Chad Warren.
Well, it is. Chad did it 28 years. I helped start the election show over 28 years ago. On
and
KFYO.
The whole deal is we didn't bring food. We're usually eating when we do this show. And we wouldn't really start election coverage till later. But
last several years, I had something that I'd cooked. So,
yeah, we've got about 20 seconds. We've got to go. Time for news and weather, and we'll be right back with more. 806-680-2790 right here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin hanging out with you. Back in a moment.
The preceding program was a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the show are not necessarily the views of this station, staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
The Internet, a place where your curiosity can flourish, unless online threats stop you. The Internet is wonderful, but you need to protect yourself online. Protect yourself online with NordVPN. NordVPN encrypts your browsing. Its Threat Protection Pro feature helps you block malware, avoid phishing, and stop digital trackers. Get the best deal at NordVPN.com.
We talk a lot in this country about defending life, but the real question is this. What are we actually doing about it? There's a place, it's called Sanctuary of Hope. And it's not about slogans, it's about action. This is a refuge for young, often terrified, unwed mothers. And instead of being pushed toward the abortion mill, Hagee Ministries gives something else. Hope, support, a future. Hagee Ministries, Sanctuary of Hope, helps to save 2 lives, the child and the mother. If you're a person of faith, if you believe what you say you believe, this is your opportunity to step up, saving the next generation and giving them hope. Go to jhm.org/LEVIN or call 855-694-9647. Please give your best gift now. It's all tax deductible, and they do such a fantastic job. That's jhm.org/LEVIN or call 855-694-9647. Because saving life isn't something we talk about, it's something we do.
This is Clay Travis. Don't forget to catch Buck and me on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show weekdays from 11 to 2 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
News Talk 95.1, 790 KFYO Lubbock, KFYO.com, a Town Square media station. It's 6 o'clock.
Trying to find a deal that works for everyone. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, echoing President Trump's demand that any deal with Iran be a good one or there won't be a deal at all. Many Republicans concerned, though, this deal could be far too lenient on Iran. Let's go to the White House to get more from Fox's Peter Ducey.
The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, saying the Strait of Hormuz is going to open one way or the other. The Iranians, according to Iranian state media, are saying, we'll open up the strait, just take $24 billion of frozen money of ours and unfreeze it. Some Republicans very unhappy at the prospect of paying Iran anything. Ted Cruz wrote on Saturday, if the result of all this is to be an Iranian regime still run by Islamists who chant death to America, now receiving billions of dollars, being able to enrich uranium and develop nuclear weapons and having effective control over the Strait of Hormuz, then that outcome would be a disastrous mistake.
President Trump vows Iran must never have a nuclear weapon. He proposed turning over its enriched uranium to the U.S. to be destroyed or destroy it abroad with nuclear regulators as witnesses. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen warned Sunday the deal's proposed terms would give Iran greater leverage. Vice President J.D. Vance now acting as President Trump's so-called fraud czar and head of the administration's anti-fraud task force, hosting a roundtable at the White House with 15 state attorneys general discussing the latest in efforts to root out abuse in state and federal health care programs around the country. Vice President Vance says though efforts are not partisan.
Everybody should care about fraud. Everybody should care about rooting out fraud. Everybody should care about saving the American taxpayers' money. And importantly, everybody should care about actually protecting the programs that only work and are only properly funded if the money funding those programs isn't being stolen by fraudsters.
While at least two of the AGs at the round table are Democrats, the Trump administration has been focusing on fraud in states like Minnesota and California. America's listening to Fox News.
ASN Shop.
Live local talk on Sundays. Reason, Religion, and Reality. Steve Evans and the Reason, Religion, and Reality crew are a panel of constitutionally minded, liberty-loving patriots covering topics from U.S. Supreme Court decisions, government actions across the spectrum, and attacks against the church. Reason, Religion, and Reality. Sundays noon to 2 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO and the KFYO app.
Tired of hearing sugar-coated views on the news of the day? Well, I hold nothing back. Join me, Mark Levin, for the Mark Levin Show, weeknights from 7 to 10 on the news and talk of West Texas, News Talk 95.1, 790, KFYO, and the KFYO app.
And on this Tuesday evening, showers and thunderstorms continue across the South Plains at 50%. Some heavy downpours already have occurred. Some localized flooding, too, especially street flooding is certainly a possibility. Those temperatures in the middle 50s, 50% chance of rain. On Wednesday, the temperatures return to the lower 80s under a partly cloudy sky. Weather is brought to you by the Sonic and the Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts, the Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to Hour 2 here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. 806-680-2790 is the number to text the show. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin in studio with you till 8 p.m. this evening at every market but Amarillo. Sorry, Amarillo. You get your side poodles game.
You'll be leaving us soon.
You're leaving us sometime. I'm not even sure when.
Probably the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, they're going to leave us a little early.
It's a 6:30 game, so the pregame's 20 minutes.
Ah, I got you. So you can flip over to KFYO.com. You can pick the show up there. Again, 806-680-2790. 309 says none of them are Saints, talking about Ken Paxton and John Cornyn. Agreed.
No, I went through pretty extensively what the pluses and minuses were for each candidate on one of those days when you were gone. No, I think was it last Wednesday, week ago Wednesday maybe.
I don't remember.
And there's no perfect candidate
Wednesday
out there.
I went to go watch our new city council members get officially sworn in. Speaker Burrows swore in David Bruegel. That was pretty neat. Get Speaker of the House to swear you in. Jennifer Wilson's had her husband Nick, assistant fire chief, swore her in. And I don't remember who swore in the mayor. I don't remember.
I wasn't there. I don't remember.
I can't remember. And Councilman Martinez was sworn in that evening too. And I don't remember who swore her in. I've forgotten. Maybe I was busy talking and not paying attention like I should have been.
No, you weren't talking, Steve.
No, I let a lot of people pull. I had to step out 2 or 3 times because I was being too loud. I thought the mayor was going to call me down at one point. Get out of the chamber.
Oh, that would have been funny.
They did come to order. They had a quorum. They came to order in a special meeting of the council to swear officially. And I think they unofficially, this was they were ceremoniously sworn in. They actually swore them in a few days prior so that they could go to work. You had to swear them in, get the bonding and all the stuff they have to do and the paperwork done. But this was the big public ceremony.
The mayor had called you out, and you told me that I would, because those things those things are recorded. I would have gone online and found that and Nick would have played it a few times for us.
Steve, quiet down. It'd have been like elementary schoolhouse style. Be quiet, please. Quiet in the back. He would have called me out too.
Oh, well, if he'd have done that, I'd have got him a ruler with a date on it and had it where you could sign it for him.
I would have too. Oh yeah, I would have. That'd have been so funny. No, I saw myself getting loud, and I was talking. I'm not even going to tell you who I was talking to. I was talking to a couple different people, but there was some folks asking me about some election stuff, and I was trying to explain a process. We actually were going to have a ballot replacement process in the appeals court. So there will be a process. So I was explaining that to someone how that works.
And so those of you that don't know, Steve will have a vote on that because he is a member of the SREC.
No. Every precinct chair.
Every precinct chair on a statewide?
No, it's not a statewide.
Okay, all right.
It's up in Amarillo. Amarillo. So it's every county that appeals court serves that has jurisdiction over, every precinct chair, Republican Party precinct chair.
We've done that before.
We did it not that long ago, actually.
No, we met up in Plainview.
That's right. We met up in Plainview, so we're going to get to do it again. And so what happened is long time, what do they call the head of the court? The chairman?
Justice.
The Chief Justice. Things are not coming to me today. It's been a day. The Chief Justice retired. Chief Justice Quinn retired.
Now, I made this point.
Judge Parker was on the ballot for her seat, and she vacated to become the Chief Justice. So that created a vacancy.
And she was appointed by Governor Abbott to take his place.
That's right. And so so she's running for that, which vacated her ballot. She was already on the ballot for her seat. So the governor appointed Laura Pratt to fill the unexpired term, which ends in December, but there's nobody on the Republican ballot now. But so because there was a vacancy that occurred because of a seat maneuver, someone jumping seats, then the party itself gets to pick somebody else to put on the ballot for November.
Was there a Democrat did the Democrats have somebody?
I didn't look, but even if there's not, it opens it back up for them
They
too.
Have an opportunity to
have an opportunity to put someone on their ballot as well, and any other declared party that might have had someone in there could open it back up. But it's just really Democrats and Republicans. So there's an entire process by which a meeting's called by the state party chair, and all of these things happen for this. And so I was talking to some folks that are involved and interested about that process. So that's what I was, and finally I was like, we need to step outside here. I'm getting a little loud, and I'm getting little looks from the mayor like, Steve, you're interrupting my ceremony here. So I stepped outside, and then I came back in, then I got drug out again, and it's like you can't go anywhere. But I did got the tour of the top floor of the Citizens Tower, and oddly enough, you can see everything. You can see the whole city. There's balconies out there, and you can see the whole city. It's pretty neat. I'd never been up there before. I don't know.
Tell you what,
I've never been up there.
Tell you what, if the mayor is so inclined, I'll bring the cigars for us to sit out there and have a smoke and watch the city. If
keep an eye on the city, like Batman.
We'll just kind of keep it done. And I was going to
Daredevil in Hell's Kitchen, standing over, watching. If it rains, I can see kind of deal. Yeah,
sure.
I don't know. I asked the question. I was up there with David Rugel. I said, "Can we smoke out here?" And he says, "I don't know." I bet we can't. But
knowing the city and how anti-smoking some of the city are, I think that probably wouldn't. But
isn't that outside?
I'd be inclined.
It's outside,
but it's city property, so you never know.
I don't know. I'm going to find out because. Have you been up there before on that balcony? It is amazing.
I've not been on the balcony. I've been to that floor.
It's on both sides. There's two balconies. There's one on each side of the building.
I got the tour when it was under construction, but not since they finished it.
It is. It's pretty awesome. Now, it's pretty much cubicle land up there. It's partitioned, glass partitioned offices, but it's like little cubicles. They don't have much space. Now, the city manager, of course, has a big office. He's there, works every day. The council, the mayor's office is pretty nice too. You'll find it one of these days, Mayor. If you're listening, I left it in your office. You're going to have to find it. He'll never find it. He'll never find what I left in his office.
But we're talking about the Seventh Court of Appeals and Justice Quinn, the Chief Justice Quinn retiring, and I couldn't believe at some point, as smart as Judge Quinn is and how much of a scholar of the law that he is, that he was never appointed to the Supreme Court of Texas. He would have made an incredible justice on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, he didn't want to do that.
I think he would have
You're
later
not
on.
just appointed out of the ether. They actually have to apply.
Yes.
And the governor has this, at least Governor Abbott has a committee that goes through and handles the paperwork and handles all that stuff and then presents all the information. So the governor doesn't have to vet anybody. It's, basically I'm imagining a big red binder and he just gets to flip it open.
I think
I'm sure he gets advice from.
As incredible as Judge Quinn was and the standard he set for the Seventh Court, he would have done the same thing for the Texas Supreme Court. Not that we've had a bad Supreme Court, but he would have raised it to a whole other level.
Possibly. Now, Judy Parker, Judge Parker, is going to be phenomenal.
She's going to be very good
in that position. She will fill that role. I mean, there's not a better person to fill Justice Quinn's shoes than Judge Parker.
I think that was a good
phenomenal
choice by the governor. She's very sharp. She's kind of reserved at times, but she's very, very smart and knows the law. And I think that was a very good choice by the governor.
Do you have to know the law to do that job? I guess it helps.
It does help. So, we
do here in the state of Texas. You wonder in some of these other courts, do they know the law?
Sometimes, how some of these people get on the various courts, and how Ketanji Brown, how she got on the Supreme Court of the U.S. That'll be discussed for the next couple of decades. Hopefully, she doesn't get in a position to do real damage.
I don't know, and they vet those candidates very, very well. I've got back when I was party chair, there were candidates.
Talking about on the state level.
Well, I'm talking about on the federal level.
On the federal, but she wasn't vetted very well.
Yeah, but I know, like in the federal level, there was some candidates out there for U.S. attorney and some various appointed seats, and I had the FBI calling me, which was weird because I never answer my phone. I make it go to voicemail, especially a number I don't know. If it's somebody I know, I'll answer. But I generally don't answer anything that's not already saved in my phone. I make it go to voicemail. I guess it's like, Mr. Evans, this is Agent so-and-so from the FBI. We need to have a word with you. Well, that's not very nice, I'm not going to call you back on purpose. I'm going to start getting my go bag and looking to get out of town. And I ended up calling them back, and they were running a background check, and I don't know why I was included in their interviews, but they were interviewing a few different candidates and wanted to know how they were to work with through the party process. It was kind of strange. And so, yeah, I thought that was odd too. But I gave my honest assessment, and I guess I don't know. Maybe I hurt, but the person didn't get the one in particular didn't get appointed.
And for a lot of you to say, Corbett, all you want is just Republicans. But I will say this: probably one of the best U.S. District Court judges that we've had in the 2000s. Bush appointed Rob Janelle. He was, he'd been on one of the courts, but he was also state senator. Appointed him to the U.S. District Court in Midland. And he was a very good justice, and he was a Democrat. But Bush had worked with him, trusted him, and so he started, I think, believe in 2003. I think is when that happened, or 2000. Somewhere around there. I can't remember, but I think it was 2003 that Bush appointed him. So it's you can find good justices in various places, and it doesn't always have to be Republicans. But if it's a Democrat, it needs to be a Democrat that follows the law.
Let's go ahead and take a break. 806-680-2790. Quick break, and we'll be right back.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible.
Look, the van even has its own backing.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun is still at daycare.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Nick, this is your phone here in the passenger seat. Look at me.
No, I'm driving.
You got a text. It says, "Yo, dude, your friends are fascinating. Let's text them back."
It can wait.
Sports app. Oh, you gotta see this play.
Later.
Hey, you got invited to a party. We need a RSVP now.
Phone, silence yourself.
Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Talk, text, crash. A message from TxDOT.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Wednesday.
Hey, we'll have all the election results statewide and locally. Also how to deal with colleagues who don't return their texts or emails.
And colleagues that have burner phones. Don't forget to stop by Window World of Lubbock, 5004 Frankfort Avenue. Sign up to win in the 20th anniversary celebration giveaway. You could win a storm door in a drawing this Friday morning. It's valued at over $1,800. It's all from Sunrise LBK.
Celebrate with KFYO. It's the Window World 20th Anniversary $10,000 giveaway. Beginning Tuesday, May 26th, enter at the Window World Showroom, 5004 Frankfort Avenue. You could be the first to win one of 6 premium Larson storm doors installed in your home. Each is valued up to $1,800. No purchase necessary. See contest details and rules at KFYO.com.
A Social Security update. 70 million Americans collect Social Security benefits today, and millions more will join soon. Now, a new study finds 70% of Americans don't get the full benefits they deserve. But recipients can use simple strategies to boost Social Security benefits by as much as $188,000 over a lifetime. Social Security expert Michael Allen says it's true and reveals 5 key strategies to increase your benefits. It's all in his free special report. Newsmax calls the report your best guide for bigger Social Security benefits. Whether you're getting benefits or soon will, you need the Social Security report. Get it free. Call 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. We'll text it to you right away, along with President Trump's act cutting your Social Security taxes. Call now, 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. Text and data rates may apply.
Hey, welcome back. 806-680-2790. Like to send us a message. Got a drive-by said, can you explain? It says formally define. We're not going to formally define anything. I don't do anything formally.
A little too relaxed for that.
Can you explain gerrymandering? Yes, I can. So, gerrymandering in its simple definition is the intentional maneuvering, moving, manipulation of election boundaries, of representation boundaries to favor a political party, a particular group, or a particular demographic, race, or something like that.
Or a particular jurisdiction.
Right, jurisdiction to gain an unfair advantage. So I want to say this before I go any further in explaining it is redistricting and moving lines is not gerrymandering. We have to maintain X amount of voters per election, per district. It has to be evenly balanced. And when we go through a census and we find out more people living over here, less people living over here, those lines have to get redrawn so that those have as close to an equal number of voters, let's say congressional districts, close to an equal number of constituents in each congressional district. That has to happen. Now, where gerrymandering comes in is when you see these districts that are really weird shaped. They jut off out here, they go way over here, they come back around, they pick up, and what they're trying to do is create districts that maybe are more Republican voters, or districts that have different races, or maybe they just want to take and they want to spread out the other party. Let's say if it's Republicans are gerrymandering and they want to dilute the Democrat vote so that they have a different advantage. That's a way to do it. You can pack or you can split a district. It both is gerrymandering. You either pack it with a whole bunch of Republicans to ensure a safe vote, or you can split it up. There's also types of gerrymandering that protect your incumbency. So maybe you're an incumbent and census has changed and you got to redistrict, but all of a sudden you don't have favorable voters in your district and you happen to find yourself on a redistricting committee. You start moving lines around to protect your incumbency, especially you start hearing about somebody who doesn't like you want to run against you.
And that is probably the most common form of gerrymandering out there. In Louisiana, the map that got the Voting Rights Act interpretation overthrown, the Louisiana map was it looked like a hand. It was just all the fingers and everything.
What do they call the finger here in Lubbock? The Tech Terrace finger that was done for
Representative Issa got accused.
Wendy Davis? Was it the Wendy Davis finger?
It was a Wendy Sitton
finger. That's it. They were giving the finger to Wendy.
So basically that area was kept in Delwyn Jones area, what was known as Tech Terrace, and basically because Tech Terrace is notoriously Democrat, because a lot of tech professors live over there, and it was used to help balance out the districts, because Delwyn didn't want too many Democrats, Issa didn't want too many Democrats. They didn't want to dilute the Republican stronghold that we have in this area. And like you said, gerrymandering is not illegal.
No, it's not illegal, but it is used. But just because you're redistricting doesn't necessarily mean you're gerrymandering. A lot of times it does. But if you truly go in and look at districts and they're nice and squared off, and maybe they jut out a little bit to catch some population, they've been pretty evenly done. But nobody does that. Who is going to draw a district to give it to the opposing party? Nobody's going to do that.
And you look at the way that the Democrats have reacted to some of this. It's they're such hypocrites, because you look up.
They've been doing it to us for years. Texas.
You take New England, for instance. There are no U.S. congressmen out of the New England area except for New York, because they couldn't draw them all out. But you look at Massachusetts, you look at Rhode Island, you look at Maine. The Republicans have had it stuck to them for years. Then all of a sudden, Republicans do it in one or two states, and oh my gosh, you'd think the world was coming to an end. And that's what they had been doing to Republicans for years. A little hypocritical in my book.
Is it?
Or is it just it's hypocritical for them to complain about what Republicans are doing.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's what
the state of Texas. The Democrats gerrymandered districts for so long.
Well,
and as far as I'm concerned, right now we're just leveling the field.
Well, in 1990, Lubbock and Amarillo was gerrymandered to try to keep Bill Sarpolis in the congressional district. So they split off East Lubbock and put it in with Bill Sarpolis to try and keep a Democrat there, but Mac Thornberry won that district, consequently after that, and so it really didn't matter, because the Democrats' gerrymandering at that point didn't work.
Well, and sometimes stuff gets gerrymandered so bad that it's almost hard to fix it later. Let's take, for instance, Texas Senate District 31. It's in Amarillo and it's in Odessa. It comes around, it wraps around the New Mexico line, a sliver, comes all the way down around us, goes down and comes across and catches Midland, Odessa. It makes no sense.
It doesn't, but the simple fact.
Now, I don't know the history of how that happened. I've never looked it up, but there was a reason it happened.
Well, because at the times it was kind of an incumbency protection, because if you had a member that was in Amarillo and a member that was in Lubbock, well, they had to find the vote somewhere, and so they wrapped around to get Midland, Odessa. They extended the Lubbock district out to Abilene. They went all the way to Wichita Falls for part of the Amarillo district at times on the congressional district, and because of incumbency.
And then you see sometimes that you get someone you just dislike, and they'll gerrymander that district just to take a town out, take a couple blocks out, and then now that incumbent is no longer eligible to run for office. We've seen that done. We've up north of us.
We've seen that happen, and you look at the districts, you want to know why it was done that way, and there's people that have complained about how you look at up north of us here, you got the three state rep districts and how they kind of, Longgate, especially, Ken King's district, has come around from way up North Canadian all the way down, to Hockley County. And that's kind of long, is where parts of, they could have divided that up if they wanted to between, Potter, Randall, and the various, the population centers to even that out. But they wanted to protect the incumbents, and the incumbents have a big say in how the redistricting happens because they get the vote on it. And if they didn't like a map, they're going to take it out.
We're going to have a quick check of news and weather. When we come back, we'll take a look at our weather coverage. And this is also election night coverage. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin, hanging out with you. 806-680-2790. Quick break. We'll see you in a minute.
Call into the show at 1-800-687-0790. Proudly broadcasting on the Texas Town Square Media Network.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
This is Election Day. The big race is the Republican runoff for U.S. Senate between incumbent John Cornyn and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. President Trump endorsed Paxton. The AG leads in the polls 52 to 43%, the latest poll. The winner takes on Democratic candidate James Tallarico in the fall. Another big race in the Republican runoff for Attorney General between Congressman Chip Roy and State Senator Mays Middleton, and a Railroad Commission seat between incumbent Jim Wright and Beau French. Voters in Houston choosing between two Democratic congressmen running against each other due to redistricting, Christian Menifee and Al Green. FIFA has locked down all 48 base camps that will be used during the World Cup. Dallas has two teams, Chechia and training in Mansfield and Sweden at FC Dallas Stadium in Frisco. Houston will be home to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Austin has Saudi Arabia. NBA Western Conference Finals tonight. San Antonio and Oklahoma City tied at 2 each. With your Texas News headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon. You wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell doesn't fudge on deliciousness. Our new black raspberry fudge ice cream in pints and half gallons combines black raspberry flavored ice cream with dark chocolate flavored chunks and a chocolate fudge swirl. The result is real. Taste the truth.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
And on this Tuesday evening, showers and thunderstorms continue across the South Plains at 50%. Some heavy downpours already have occurred. Some localized flooding, too, especially street flooding is certainly a possibility. Those temperatures in the middle 50s, 50% chance of rain. On Wednesday, the temperatures return to the lower 80s under a partly cloudy sky. Weather is brought to you by the Sonic and the Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts, the Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Here's a news flash for you. Car buying can suck. This is the car pro, Jerry Reynolds. I've spent over 20 years referring car buyers to my friends. in the car business, so you can avoid that sucky part. Go to carpro.com to connect with my friends today. I mean, who couldn't use a friend in the car business? And the best part is, it is absolutely free. Remember, it starts at carpro.com.
Carpro.com. Fox on Tech.
A California jury found that Meta and YouTube harmed a young girl with addictive features that led to mental health issues. Many are hoping this will open the gates to many more lawsuits and for bipartisan calls to change or let lapse Section 230. Section 230 has been around for 30 years and shields big tech companies from liability for what users post online. Many argue it has become outdated compared to the rapid growth of social media. Senator Dick Durbin posted, quote, "These back-to-back decisions in New Mexico and California show that big tech has become big tobacco. Now it's time for Congress to sunset Section 230 once and for all." Some of those efforts have faced intense pushback from industry groups that argue ending 230 could lead to censorship. With Fox on Tech, Connor Hansen, Fox Business.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Hey, welcome back. 806-680-2790. You'll have to send us a message. I want to check in on our regional weather update. So, storms, fronts pushing on through, pushing through to the east, northeast. Now, Wichita Falls, you might get some of it, comes up all the way into Wichita Falls proper, but only Seymour, Vernon, Quanah. All these storms are circulating around that area. Another, pretty good sized system through Paducah, and it may come around Childress. You might get a little bit more Childress. It doesn't look to be severe at the moment. North of Paducah, that storm is broken up, and what's left of it is headed up towards you, Amarillo. If you're still with us, Amarillo should be dropping off to the Sod Poodles game here in a minute. But if you're still with us, Amarillo, a little bit of that weather coming up towards you. It's almost on top of Tulia. It's going to go right over that canyon fire, so hopefully if there's anything left smoldering, it'll help that out a little bit. Doesn't look like a lot of rain with this. A lot of cloud cover, very, very slow moving storm, so if it does dump some rain, it's going to stick around for a little while. Really, for the listening area, it's clear of Abilene, Coleman, Comanche, Eastland, there in the east side of the Abilene listening area. You're getting a little bit of weather there, and then most of the rest of it is south down around Llano, San Saba, and it looks like Austin or North Killeen, Georgetown might take a beating off of this too. And then it's pretty much broken up. That frontal boundary is headed east. It's past us. A little bit of stuff back building in New Mexico. Whether it'll get organized and head this way overnight, I don't know. Kind of hard to tell, but mainly that frontal boundary is pushed. It's pushed east of Lubbock. It's starting to break up with another low. You know, the next low pressure system is over on the other side of Arizona. So we might have a few days potentially, but this may stick around for a little bit. Of course, we've got some predictions for weather tomorrow, and there might be some isolated stuff still out there behind this low pressure system, but right now, the bulk of it is gone. Got some decent rain in Lubbock. I don't have any rain totals. I haven't looked those up, but got some decent rain, much needed rain. And as it turns out, my daughter she decided to do a garden, so I got to operate a rototiller for Memorial Day and get all the beds prepped for it. And she got everything planted yesterday, and then got a really great rain on top of it. So it's a good start.
Good start on that. And for those of you that have been asking this, Chad's wife posted on Facebook when the services are going to be. It's going to be May 30th, 2 to 3 at the Message Church at 5502 Auburn in Lubbock.
That'll be at 2 o'clock.
At 2 p.m. Yes.
2 p.m. That'll be a celebration.
Celebration of life.
We've talked about this is, as Chad's dad said, we're going to celebrate my son. So no crying will be tolerated. I don't know if that's true. No sadness will be tough.
It's going to be hard not to tear up some of it.
It's going to be tough. But
very touching.
But this is a celebration of a wonderful individual, a wonderful man, and if you can come, it's you might try to get there early. It's I think it's going to be pretty full. It's going to be a lot of people there. 806-680-2790. We got about 22 minutes before polls begin to close across the state of Texas. If you have any, I don't know what that is. Is that you?
I think that is me, yes.
Ken's got alarms going off. Do I need to duck? That sounds really bad. Is that your heart monitor going off?
No,
do I need to call the
like
paramedics?
The way I was charging my phone here.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay.
I was getting concerned.
No, I don't have a heart monitor or
send the paramedics, Nick.
Or
Ken's not going to make it.
Or a diabetic pump that went all crazy.
Life alert. Nick says your life alert went off. I've fallen. Ken's fallen, and he can't get up.
So that hadn't happened before, but oh well.
That's never happened?
Not happened on this phone, no.
On this phone. New noise. I didn't know what that was. It startled me. Somebody's shooting at us or something. I don't know. Foreign noise there. 806-680-2790. If you have a prediction, certainly send it in. If you have some rainfall totals, love to hear. Go out there and take a look at that rain gauge on the fence if you remember to dump it out, and tell us what you got. Nick, do you have any election predictions? Anything? None? Yeah. Nick's like, me? He's like, I've never been asked for election predictions before.
First of all, my predictions are so outlandish. I'm never correct on anything that requires numbers. I don't know. I'm going to say, just because I've heard the most against, I've actually heard the most against Cornyn. So I'm going to say I would not be surprised if Paxton pulls through. That is my official prediction.
Paxton's going to win. Official prediction. Paxton pulls through.
Yeah, I said it'd be about 5 points Paxton. For those for the boo birds that are saying that we haven't made any predictions yet, there's one that we've made.
Yeah, we made that one the other day, though.
Yeah,
I think here's the thing that's hard. I got asked yesterday. What do you think about the turnout numbers? Well, early on, I would have thought it'll help one camp or the other, but there was a surge. I think we can contribute a surge in voting numbers and turnout to Donald Trump's endorsement.
I think so. Looking at it, how it's
it could have been like people got mad and went and voted for Cornyn. There could have been a surge of Cornyn voting. I'm getting out. How dare he? And to be honest with you, you can dislike things Trump does. I really wish Trump would have stayed out of it.
Yes,
I didn't want him to endorse. Certainly not right in the middle of early voting. So it was like, yeah, I saw my guy about to lose. I'm going to throw an endorsement out there to give him a little boost. I don't know. It could be that.
I don't think that Paxton's going to win, or let's say Cornyn, I don't think is going to lose as much as Cassidy in Louisiana did a couple weeks ago. But I do think it could make enough of a difference to push Paxton over.
Every election cycle, do you say to yourself, I wish there was another candidate to vote for? It was like in one race, every election cycle.
Every election cycle.
I wish we'd have
been able to vote.
There was a third option, because I don't like any of them. And I'm telling you, sometimes I don't no vote in an election unless I just don't know anything about the candidates. And there's occasionally one will pop up that I wasn't even thinking about and didn't research anybody, and I just don't vote. I skip that one.
Occasionally a judicial race, I'm like, gosh, I don't know a lot about
Who are these people? Hear that, judges? We don't know who you are sometimes. We have to go on, I don't ever flip a coin. You see people when we used to do the pencil, the fill in, they would just play dot to dot, A, C, B, D, A, just pick whoever. I don't know. We're going to know. We'll have some, hopefully, I don't know. I can't tell you exactly how long it's going to take to get early voting numbers. We'll start to see some pop up. Some of the smaller counties will start to pop up here in a little bit.
We'll see some direction out of the Secretary of State's website as what's happening statewide
when those early voting numbers drop. And so hopefully we get those a decent amount of early voting numbers before we get off the air. And we're going to be with you till 8 p.m. this evening, and a little bit of extended coverage this evening for election night. Won't be able to take it all the way to the final numbers, but hopefully we'll have we'll shift gears right at 7 and start going into election coverage. For now, we need to take the final break of this hour. 806-680-2790. Back in a moment.
Cats are masters at using up their 9 lives, like chasing laser pointers into walls or jumping onto high shelves. But the one thing cats never do, text while driving. So be like a cat and protect your one and only life. Don't text and drive.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Has anybody told you about Coast to Coast AM tonight?
Coast to Coast is one of those programs that deals with strange mysteries. We'll look at Bigfoot. We'll look at UFOs. We'll look at real science. And we'll also look at conspiracies and what it all means to you, the listeners of Coast to Coast AM.
It's the best in overnight talk radio. Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Tonight at midnight on KFYO.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Car buying can really suck. That's why you need a friend in the car business. CarPro Jerry Reynolds here to make car buying fun and fair. Go to carpro.com to connect to one of my friends. The best part is it's free. carpro.com.
Hey, welcome back. 806-680-2790. I'd like to send a message. Got one from 543. Says, Cornyn lost my vote because of his stance on the Second Amendment. I didn't like Paxton, but my gun rights took precedence. I didn't want to vote for Mays Middleton because he reminded me too much of the Glasheen campaign, which was nauseating. Again, I held my nose and voted against Chip Roy, who always seemed angry and offered no real reason to support him. Kevin Pound seems to be a version of 2.0 Corley. One race we haven't talked about it. I think Kevin Pound is far from Jason Corley is. I think there was
the third candidate in that race was probably more aligned with Corley than Kevin Pound.
Who was the third candidate in that race? I don't even remember. I have to go back and look.
Martin.
Oh, was it Martin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is about
that's
Pounds,
right. It was
Pounds,
Justin Martin was in there.
Yeah, Pounds. He's from Slayton like Corley was, and it's kind of that race is going to depend on the turnout that Slayton has, because one thing that's unique in that race is that Trey Newton lives in Lubbock, city of Lubbock, as does, and you go to Commissioner Precinct 4.
I don't think Kevin Pounds lives in Slayton anymore. Didn't he live out east of town somewhere?
I think he lives in between Lubbock and Slayton. I think that's right, but I know he doesn't live in the city of Lubbock. And then, then Rackler and Chad C.
That's going to be a very, very close race.
That's going to be a very close race. I think it's honestly too close to call.
Well, if I remember right, I think I've got this right. That race when the first time they ran against each other, I believe it was like 90 votes was all that separated that, and they came from Shallow
Water's turnout was very high compared to the city of Lubbock turnout on that, and
now you've got two candidates that both have voting records.
Two candidates with voting records, and it's going to be real interesting. We'll see how upset more people are at one over the other. I think the difference, two things are going to make a difference in that race. If Shallowater turns out heavy for Rackler, I think that puts him over. And if there's a lot of people that are upset,
put him over,
that are upset about the Lubbock County Expo, if they're upset about that, they're going to vote for Chad C. So
are they?
I think so.
I don't think there's a good vote right now for either way. I just don't think there's a good vote.
Chad C's been vocally against how things have happened on it. Now that he's against the Expo Center, but he's not happy with how they voted. Some of the things where allowing the county to pick up losses from the Expo Center has teed off a lot of people. But the question is it enough? So I think
are people paying attention. That's the thing. Are people paying attention to that stuff? They pay. I mean, most people pay.
Because it's going to affect your tax rate at some point.
Do you watch local? You're the wrong person to ask. Do you watch local news?
I watch some.
I don't watch much local news anymore.
Two reasons. I'll record it. I'll go back. I'll skim through it.
I'm not going to go back and. I get headlines.
Two reasons. I'll skim through it just to see what the headlines are. Then also see who's advertising because I might call on them.
Well, yeah, that's.
So I've got two reasons.
That's your business, but I don't know. It's. I'm always busy during local news. I've got all the news apps. I catch the headlines, but I don't listen to the reporter stories. I don't watch the news. I get the headlines, and so
news business has changed a lot because things are so immediate anymore. I don't like the TMZ type reporting we see a lot of times on Facebook. I ignore a bunch of it.
It's an echo chamber. I don't listen to it either.
And then I think that in some instances we're seeing local TV news taking some of that same approach. And I don't think that's it might help with some viewership at times, but I don't think that's a positive for local news.
Oh, I watch some national news. I've usually got a TV in my office streaming national news. This time of year, I'm just watching weather. I'm a weather nerd. I watch a lot of weather. I like to know if I'm not going to be here in the next hour. I'd like to know if I'm going to have to put an insurance claim on my truck.
With all the Lubbock, Abilene, Wichita Falls, Amarillo, kind of just check and see what the headlines are there and the different things I subscribe to, like Wall Street Journal, the Texan, and look at the quorum report, just kind of see statesmen, kind of see what's happening across the state. Kind of do a quick perusal of those things. I wish I had more time to get more in depth with it, but that's just life.
Got about 6 minutes till early voting closes across the state. And usually those early voting numbers happen quick, generally, especially in a runoff. As soon as they verify that all the polling locations, like in the case of Lubbock County, all the polling locations are closed, they will pull out the magic manila folder, the magic envelope, and unseal it, and they will hand the early voting results to the party chair if they're present. They'll call their candidates, tell them what the early vote numbers look like, and then we'll have them.
And that there'll be a quicker process this time because
it should be.
Sometimes
we can make a prediction there. I say we'll have early voting at 7:30 for Lubbock.
7:45.
7:45. Get it right before we go out there. You could be right.
I think so.
It takes, again, if they got a surge, the weather stopped, people could get out. If we had a surge at the polls, we won't get the early voting numbers until the polls are closed. We might not get them before we get off there, but we should start having some data across the state reported before we're off the air. But we're going to stay on till 8 o'clock, one more hour of the show this evening. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin, hanging out with you. 806-680-2790. Text line is up and running. And I think we're on everywhere but Amarillo. We might get a Sod Poodles update. They should be playing by now.
Online and look and see
and see how the Sod Poodles are doing. And your text and more.
Might have to pull up the 940 app and listen to it for just a minute and see if we can get a score.
See if we can get the score. Oh, and again, who are they playing?
They're playing Midland. Midland Rockhounds.
Midland Rockhounds.
Yeah.
When are we going to get a team to play in that league? Isn't it a minor league team?
I think it'll take Texas Tech relenting.
Is that what it is? Is that what's holding it off? Having a minor league team?
I mean, Tech, and I don't blame Tech. Tech wants to be all-encompassing in Lubbock. If you're going to buy sponsorships, you're going to support sports.
Well, there's revenue. There's a lot of money that happens.
They want it to be with them, which I don't blame them. They dominate everything else in Lubbock. Why not the sports?
That'll wrap up the hour here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin back with our third hour of the show. Election coverage night. It's primary runoffs happening. News and weather's next, and we'll be right back.
The preceding program was a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the show are not necessarily the views of this station, staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
This is Bill Cunningham, the Great American. Do not miss my show every Sunday night
from 9 to midnight
on the News and Talk of West Texas, News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
The state, the nation, the world. From a Texas perspective. News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO Lubbock.
It's 7 o'clock. Airstrikes and negotiations. I'm Tom Rigotti, Fox News. President Trump is slated to meet with his cabinet tomorrow as talks with Iran continue. This after the U.S. conducted what it's calling self-defense strikes near the Strait of Hormuz. Fox Business Network's Ashley Webster is in Tel Aviv with the latest.
So many moving parts, which is, of course, normal for the Middle East. U.S. Central Command earlier saying that they launched these so-called defensive strikes to protect U.S. troops from Iranian forces. Later in the day, CENTCOM gave out a statement with more explanation saying, quote, targets included missile launch sites and Iranian boats that were attempting to emplace mines. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire. Now, as you would imagine, those strikes drew instant anger from Iran, who accused the U.S. of a gross violation of ceasefire.
Protesters gather outside the Delaney Hall ICE facility over what they claim are poor conditions inside. Fox's Alexis McAdams is in Newark, New Jersey with more.
Chaos in New Jersey as masked anti-ICE protesters clash with federal agents. And in that crowd were New Jersey Democrats demanding DHS release illegal migrants from the Delaney Hall ICE detention facility. Senator Andy Kim, Congressman Rob Menendez, and Governor Mikey Sherrill say detainees are on a hunger strike over the conditions inside.
Often they were talking about the poor food that they're getting, the medical treatment that they need and deserve.
But DHS says the illegal migrants are eating 3 meals a day, have clean water and medical care, calling the protest nothing more than a political stunt by New Jersey sanctuary politicians for fundraising clicks.
Governor Mikey Sherrill was denied access to the facility Sunday. She and Senator Andy Kim also met with the detainees' families. The senators demanding the facility be closed. America's listening to Fox News.
The bar's set with
Securing America.
America's military leaders honored the service members who lost their lives in securing the country during a ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery Monday. Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane said every tombstone at Arlington tells a story
of American courage, tenacity, and grit.
War Secretary Pete Hegseth said that even in war, America's troops
fought not because they hate what's in front of them, but because they love what's behind them.
Vice President J.D. Vance made this pledge.
We commit to make the United States of America the very best version of itself.
while President Trump reflected on the meaning of the day as the country's 250th anniversary approaches.
There could be no 4th of July without America's armed forces, and there could be no Independence Day without Memorial Day.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
The Car Pro Show, right after Shooter on the Law, Saturdays at 11 on KFYO.
And on this Tuesday evening, showers and thunderstorms continue across the South Plains at 50%. Some heavy downpours already have occurred. Some localized flooding, too, especially street flooding is certainly a possibility. Those temperatures in the middle 50s, 50% chance of rain. On Wednesday, the temperatures return to the lower 80s under a partly cloudy sky. Weather is brought to you by the Sonic and the Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts, the Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to Hour 3 here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin with extended election coverage this evening. We'll take a look at, we'll be on with you till 8 o'clock. Take a look, polls closing across the state. No numbers yet. We should start seeing some trickle in. Happy to hear from you. If you'd like to make a final prediction, 806-680-2790. Love to hear from you, or anything you want to weigh in on as we count down to election results. We've got a race for a statewide race for railroad commissioner. We've got Jim Wright and Beau French in that race.
I made no bones about that, Jim Wright. So, I think Beau French is a clown. If you look at what he did in Tarrant County, he and his successor, I believe the number I saw was 0 for 16 in races where they supported a candidate. Both of them were some Republicans, some nonpartisan races, but they were 0 for 16. So obviously the people in Tarrant County didn't think much of Beau French, other than they mistakenly elected him as their county chairman for a little bit. And hopefully this will be the end of Beau French's career.
I think there is a chance. Let's see. He's still got time to announce. I think there's a chance if Beau French loses, he comes back and runs for state party chair.
God help us if he does.
No, I think he does.
He's crazy. I don't like him.
There's been times, especially during all of the censure stuff, that he was at odds with current chairman Abraham George. Pretty critical of him on social media. I think there's a chance that he just comes out of the woodwork, because you have to announce 10 days prior to the convention.
You're trying to depress me, aren't you?
Well, I'm not trying to, if you're allowing me to dictate how you feel, that's a you problem, sir. That's not mine.
That's news that I didn't like hearing. I hopefully not, but we're going to be following, the District 19 race. There's some other interesting races on congressional races.
Well, of course, the big Attorney General race, Mays Middleton and Chip Roy in a runoff for Attorney General.
I think Mays Middleton takes that. I think it's going to be closer than what people think it's going to be.
I think that is going to be a very close race.
I think it's within 34 points for Mays Middleton.
Could be. I do think Mays Middleton will pull it out. I think he'll squeak it out. I don't know. Congressman Arrington endorsed supporting Chip Roy.
He served with Chip Roy, so that's natural.
Yeah, no, I get that. Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows, supporting Mays Middleton. It is split here. It's interesting.
Well, Speaker Burrows served with Mays Middleton. Mays Middleton being the state senator, so he saw him firsthand day after day. So he had a good feel for his work ethic and what he believes, and Mays Middleton is very conservative.
Well, and Speaker Burrows is going to support what he believes is best for the state of Texas, that the legislature can work with. I mean, that's going to be the top
That's important.
Call. Oh, absolutely, it's important. That is the person that's going to have to defend the legislature, defend the legislation. That's the first line of defense. Good legislation gets tested by the courts. It survives the courts, and then it's in great shape. So we're going to be relying on the Attorney General quite a bit.
Well, there's other races, and there are a couple of congressional districts that are out there that I think are going to be interesting. One is going to be U.S. Representative for CD19, Briscoe Cain and Alex Mueller.
I think Briscoe Cain's going to lose.
Briscoe's going to get beat badly. There's been so much money put into that race against Briscoe Cain.
And they have been running a mud-slinging campaign against Briscoe.
If anybody thinks anything's been bad up here, you have no idea.
Man, they're just, and I feel bad for Briscoe and his family and the way they've been treated. And I mean, it's just horrible.
Down that part of southeast Texas where Briscoe Cain is, you look at that race, then you look at what happened with Date Phelan and his race and the mud that would happen there. It's you think we're serious up here? No, nothing like down there.
All right, here we go. Got 70,000 votes in on Attorney General so far. Looking like 56% Mays Middleton, 43% Chip Roy. Very, very early numbers. We've got 68,000 votes in. Bo French at 53% to Jim Wright's 46%. We have 64,000 votes in the Criminal Court of Appeals, place 3. Thomas Smith, 53% over Allison Fox's 46%. And why? Here we go. This site. Then the same 73,000 has Ken Paxton at 55% to John Cornyn's 44%. Very early numbers. Nothing in for District 916. 2,100 votes turned in the Congressional District 19, 73% Tom Sell, 26% Abraham Enriquez. I suspect that's just one county. District 30, if you're listening to, watching that Congressional District, 55% for Everett Jackson, 44% for, Sheldon Daniels. Let's see, looking for...
And it is all rural districts that have come in.
That is just rural districts. And of course, it's easier for them. Their polls close. It's easier for those to come in. We get updates about every 4 minutes on Secretary of State's website. Nothing on any of our district races so far. We've got a First Court of Appeals District place 3, Frankfort versus Gibson, with Frankfort 53-47, just 12,000 votes in there. Really early on. So those are not numbers that we can make any sort of predictions off of whatsoever. I'm not even going to try.
Right. I've looked at that. That's all rural.
That gives us 40 of the 3,100 polling locations, 3,100 polling locations reporting so far. 28 of 254 counties currently reporting, but it'll start to build here over about every 4 minutes or so. We'll get another batch gets uploaded, and those are the ones that upload. I really don't know how they're able to upload to the Secretary of State's office so fast. In the larger areas, they have the early voting. All they have to do is hit send to upload it, and it just takes so long. Let's see. We had Andrews County is, if we're taking a look at Congressional District 19, 1 of 5 precincts in for Andrews County, their early vote.
I noticed Nolan and Mitchell counties are in too.
Fisher County in, 2,300 voters there. Not even 1% voter turnout in those counties. Jones County's got a little bit of theirs in. Mitchell and Nolan, just one precinct in each one of those. So just really early on. Like I say, here every time this refreshes, 9 of 397 counties in
out of the top population centers, Dallas County is the only one that seems to be in so far at this point. So that's obviously skewing heavier for some areas or some of those races.
778 weighs in, says, do y'all think the big cities will support Cornyn? Yes, I think the purple, blue, more moderate areas, Cornyn pulls moderate vote. So those moderate Republicans will vote for Cornyn, and you will find those in more of the urban areas than you do Paxton. But it's still a mixed bag.
It is Lubbock. I don't know that you would call Lubbock a moderate county. It was one of those that.
No, I don't think Lubbock's moderate at all.
But it showed up as, Cornyn Cornyn won that. He won Lubbock, and and it has some fairly decent size. Smith County was also one of those that went for Cornyn. Its turnout has been fairly strong. Now they were one of the top counties that I named earlier that had turned out. The heavier Cornyn votes in the primary had heavier turnout this time. But I don't know that it's going to make that much difference.
I don't know. It's we're going to know today.
Yes.
Okay. A little bit next update. We've got 125 counties in. It doesn't change. It doesn't change the numbers that much at all. A few updates. Let's see. Ken Paxton pulled up a little bit. Another 70,000 votes or so added to that. Let's see. It's got Ken Paxton at 57 to John Cornyn's 42%. And again, this is rural areas. This is going to be probably more pro-Paxton areas, I'm going to guess. When you get into the more urban areas, you're going to start to see, Galveston, a lot of votes out of Houston. You'll see Dallas County votes. You'll see Travis County votes coming in for Cornyn. And all of those still, a long way to go before we start to see any of those reporting. It's up to 2,400 votes in the Congressional District 19 race. Nothing out of Lubbock County yet.
And I just
still
checked
on this.
Just checked on Taylor County. There's nothing up yet on Taylor County. And so we'll go check the rest of the counties as we move on here. So don't see anything in Wichita yet.
Those of you listening and watching your local news, if you're getting some data in areas that we just don't have, we don't have every county in the state. We rely on the Secretary of State's office quite a bit for information. But if you've got some data out in your area, 806-680-2790, fire it off to us. We'll certainly put that out as we're 14 minutes from the polls closing across the state and information starting to pile up. Nicholas, keep us on track. Whenever we need to take a break, fire us off here. Do we need to take one now? No? Whenever? Nicholas, whenever. Your call. Whatever you want to do. Let's take a quick break while we're waiting for next set of numbers to pop up here. 806-680-2790. Stephen Kent hanging out with you. Back in a moment.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Nick, this is your phone here in the passenger seat. Look at me.
No, I'm driving.
You got a text. It says, "Yo, dude, your friends are fascinating. Let's text them back."
It can wait.
Sports app. Oh, you gotta see this play.
Later.
Hey, you got invited to a party. We need a RSVP now.
Phone, silence yourself.
Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Talk, text, crash. A message from TxDOT.
Car Pro News. Here's Laura Reynolds.
Some of GM's vehicles can power your home. I asked GM's Derek Sequeira just how much this was going to set us back.
When properly equipped with our GM Energy Enablement Bundle, a bidirectional inverter, a home hub that allows you to select which loads in your home you're going to back up, and a dark start battery, you now have the ability to get that bidirectional capability. And all of this, you would be walked through by our home energy consultants so that you understand what each component does and how it fits your lifestyle. So to go full bidirectional within the home, our Power Shift Plus Enablement Bundle is just under $7,300. Installation costs will vary depending on the size of your home and what type of setup you want, but overall, I think what we benchmarked is the total all-in cost is very comparable to what you would get charged for a natural gas generator or a propane generator installed into your home.
With today's Auto News, I'm Laura Reynolds.
Car buying sucks, but not with CarPro.com. Let's listen in.
Love the new car, but how did...
CarPro.com, my new friend.
Friend?
He took his time with me, you know.
No, I don't...
Just the perfect touch. Not too...
Who's touching?
Oh, honey. CarPro.com has the easiest, most wonderful way of buying a car. They use their CarPro friends inside the dealership, and it just makes all the difference. I'm in love.
CarPro.com. You now have a friend in the car buying business, and it doesn't suck. And it's free. CarPro.com.
America's #1 talk show host, Sean Hannity. Weekday afternoons at 2 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
790. If you'd like to send us a message, we're going to get Lubbock County Republican Party Chairman David Brugel on the phone here in just a second. We've got Lubbock early voting numbers. Nick, if that's David Brugel, just go ahead and put him on the air.
Put him through.
Numbers updating. We're up to 217 of 3,100 polling locations across the state. Is that David, Nick? Is he ready to go? Let's get him on. Lubbock County Republican Party Chairman David Brugel on the air with some early voting numbers for Lubbock County. How you doing?
Doing good, Steve. How are you?
Man, we're doing good. Anxiously awaiting our Lubbock County numbers. I'm assuming you've got the magic piece of paper with early voting in your hands, ready to share.
I do. Now, Steve, of course, for the statewide and regional races, these results only reflect Lubbock County's totals, and so we'll be seeing other counties report throughout the night. But the first race I'd like to share with you, we have Ken Paxton versus Senator John Cornyn. Ken Paxton is up with 59% of the vote. Senator Cornyn's 40%.
Ooh, all right.
And then in the race for District 19 to be our next congressman, Tom Sell is up 61% in Lubbock County.
61% in Lubbock County? All right. What else you got?
Lubbock County. And so the race for Attorney General, Mays Middleton, has got 61% in Lubbock County, putting him in a strong lead here. Ready to go. And for the Railroad Commission seat, Commissioner Jim Wright in Lubbock County has 53%. It's a very tight race there.
Right at 53% to Beau French.
Let's talk about our local races now.
Let's
County
see.
Commissioner
What do we
Precinct 2.
Oh, I want to take a picture.
Yeah, so County Commissioner Precinct 2, Kevin Pounds is up in the lead of 59.5%.
59.5% for Kevin Pounds.
Commissioner Jordan Rackler is, it appears to be skating to re-election at 62.5%.
Wow.
And then we've got a tighter race for Justice of the Peace in Precinct 3, where Tracy Baxa is up 52.5%. The total there, Steve, Tracy has 619 votes, and her opponent, Mary Hernandez, has 554. Leaving a close margin in that race that could come down to the Election Day votes.
It will come down to the Election Day votes, and not a great turnout, I noticed, in Election Day in Lubbock. Of course, the rain contributed to it, but looking at 530, not even 5,000 votes cast in Lubbock County at 530. We'll see what we could have got a push there from 5 to 7, and might have a big push, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we had a strong turnout during the early vote. I think a lot of people, a trend we're starting to see here in Lubbock County is that people are voting early more frequently. And so we like to see that. It's good to go ahead and make sure you show up and make sure you vote before you end up out of town or ill or something like that.
Yeah, it's, I'm kind of anti-early voting. I early voted this time, just, I've never voted on, the first morning early voting opens. I went right when they opened up and voted. Got it in early, but I'm all for Election Day voting myself. I'm just shut down early voting. It's too expensive.
Different strokes for different folks.
I think we need to go at the most 1 week. I like how we do it on the runoffs. We don't need the 2 weeks. It's too expensive and it's too stretched out.
lose David? Still got you there, David?
Oh, nope. Yeah, I'm back here again. Yeah,
busy at the elections office. If you had an estimation, I'm going to ask you the impossible question. If you had an estimation, how does it look for polling locations shutting down? Of course, they're all closed, or we wouldn't have early voting numbers. But are we starting to see some boxes show up, Election Day boxes show up there at the elections office?
They're starting to trickle back. So it may be later on this evening before we have much for Election Day, but we'll keep you guys in the loop as we do.
I do. We're on till 8 o'clock. David Brugel, Lubbock County Republican Party Chair, your last official act. You got some convention stuff, but your last official primary election act of your tenure, and you're moving on to service in the city council.
Well, this is his last statutory duty.
So I'm already doing double duty.
Yeah, last statutory duty today. But anyway, hey, thanks for calling in. We'll check in with you a little bit later. David Brugel, Lubbock County Republican Party Chair. Numbers coming in across the state. I've got another update. I'll hit my computer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here it comes. It may be a lot. It may be a little. 327 jumped up to 39% of counties reporting. 10% of the actual polling locations. Mays Middleton still at 57%, of which Chippewa is 42%. Beau French, 53% to Jim Wright's 46%. Thomas Smith and Allison Fox, 56% for Thomas Smith. Allison Fox, 43% in that Criminal Court of Appeals Place 3. That's our statewide races. Of course, our federal races, Ken Paxton, so far, 425,000 votes cast, 61% to John Cornyn's 38%. Ken Paxton slowly pulling ahead. Let's see, and looking out in, overall, I'm going to assume this does not include Lubbock County numbers yet, but 8,300 votes, updated so far in the Congressional District 19 race. Tom Sell at 69.7% to Abraham Enriquez's 30.3%, and still going.
I think that race could tighten, but I don't think there's going to be any material change in the outcome on a lot of these races that we're seeing. I think Lubbock County is going to be pretty indicative of what we see statewide.
Well, Lubbock County should certainly be the largest vote caster in that race, and we are. But you add up the rules. There's a lot of rural counties in this district, a lot more votes to be counted. And I don't have any turnout numbers or any feel. I suspect the rural counties turned out. A lot of heavy campaigning by the candidates in the rural counties. They well know, both of them. I've talked to both of them. They well know how important it is to work those rural counties in Congressional District 19. It's a lot of farm, a lot of ag, a lot of rural areas, and they are very in tune with who their congressman is and who represents them.
I think the only one that has any possibility of changing for Lubbock County is going to be the JP3 with Baxton and Hernandez. That's the only one that might change. But even at those percentages with basically 5 points, I think that if it does tighten a little bit, it's not going to materially change the outcome.
Well, and so, you look at, we had over 16,000 votes cast in early voting, and I'm going to guess 5,000 to 6,000. We don't know what our Election Day totals are. And then you break it down even into a smaller block when you just look at that precinct. No telling. I mean, those are often decided by just a handful of votes, especially in a low turnout election. Let's do this. Are we ready to fire off a break? Let's go ahead and fire off a break. Quick check. I guess we got news and weather here coming up. We'll be back with more election coverage, another half hour when we come back. Stick around.
On air and online, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending a text at 806-680-2790.
Heads up, Texas.
So you don't hit my car when I'm sitting at a stoplight.
Heads up, Texas.
So I can ride my bike safely.
Heads up, Texas.
So I can make it across the street without getting run over.
Heads up, Texas.
So I don't have to write you a ticket.
Heads up, Texas, because driving and using your phone is a bad combination. Talk, text, crash. Crash. Brought to you by TxDOT.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
The polls are closing and Texans are choosing who will be the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has Donald Trump's endorsement over John Cornyn, the incumbent. The winner will take on Democratic House member James Tallarico in the fall. Other big Republican runoffs include Texas Attorney General between Congressman Chip Roy and State Senator Mays Middleton, Railroad Commissioner between incumbent Jim Roy and Beau French. Voters in Houston are choosing between two Democratic congressmen running against each other due to redistricting, Christian Menifee and Al Green. In Dallas, Democrats will decide if Congresswoman Julie Johnson will keep her seat or will be ousted by former Congressman Colin Allred. Wallet Hub ranks Plano as the fourth best place in the country to raise a family in 2026. The only cities ranked higher are Fremont, California, Overland Park, Kansas, and Irvine, California. NBA Western Conference Finals tonight, the Spurs and OKC Thunder tied at 2 each. With your Texas News headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell, and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell doesn't fudge on deliciousness. Our new black raspberry fudge ice cream in pints and half gallons combines black raspberry flavored ice cream with dark chocolate flavored chunks and a chocolate fudge swirl. The result is real. Taste the truth.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
And on this Tuesday evening, showers and thunderstorms continue across the South Plains at 50%. Some heavy downpours already have occurred. Some localized flooding, too, especially street flooding, is certainly a possibility. Those temperatures in the middle of 50s, 50% chance of rain. On Wednesday, the temperatures return to the lower 80s under a partly cloudy sky. Weather is brought to you by the Sonic and the Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts from Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
It's the Car Pro Show, 3 hours every Saturday afternoon from 11 to 2, right here on KFYO.
Empowering West Texas with news that matters. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO. Hey, welcome back. 806-6802-790 to our election coverage. 543 says Slimeball Paxton, Mays Trust Fund Middleton, and Beau French. That's the best we can do, making it tough to be a Republican. Thanks for weighing in. I'm just stalling here another 10 seconds till I get another Secretary of State update. Just coming here in just a few seconds. We'll take a look. We're sitting at 45% of counties reporting, but only 367 of the 3,100 polling locations. Now, a lot of those are rural. It won't change significantly. That it pushed us up a little bit. We're at 538,000 votes. Mays Middleton at 58% to Chip Roy's 41%. Beau French still holding, Jim Wright still holding 46%. That doesn't change, the Criminal Court of Appeals place 3 race at all. Thomas Smith at 56% to Allison Fox's 43%. Jumping out to the Congressional District 19 race. Take a quick look. 25,000 votes now cast in that race. Tom Sell at 64% to Abraham Enriquez 35.4% in that race. Still quite a bit of vote to be cast in that race. But with the Lubbock County numbers, I think, didn't you get a notice Decision Desk has already made a call on that race?
Yeah, I saw where Decision Desk has already said Tom Sell's the winner in that race.
That seems a little bit early to me, but they're looking at some data we don't have.
I think the margin is such. I think that they were Abraham's big hope was that Lubbock at least would break even, and it's obviously didn't with the numbers that were for Lubbock County.
Yeah, looking at Lubbock County's early vote again, Tom Sell at 61% of the vote. Ken Paxton did well in Lubbock, made a lot of trips out. Cornyn made one that I know of. Ken Paxton visited several times, several organizations, 59 to 40% in the early vote in Lubbock County. Mays Middleton at 61% of the early vote. Jim Wright at 53% of the Lubbock County early vote. Kevin Pounds, Commissioner Precinct 2 at 59.5% of the vote. And Jordan Rackler over Chad Say currently sitting at 62.5% of the early vote. I don't see that changing. That's a pretty big pull in early vote.
Not necessarily surprised at who's ahead. I'm a little bit surprised on the margin of victory in a couple, or what looks to be the margin of victory in a couple of those commissioner races.
Yeah, I know Jordan Rackler got out and worked really hard.
He did last time also.
He did. I mean, he was his ground game was pretty phenomenal. Had a lot of good help. Had a really good ground game. A lot of support, but still, I think it was 90 votes. I'll have to go back and look, but I think it was only 90 votes in Shallow Water proper. Split that. It's going to be a much bigger. Which it's hard for.
It's hard to beat an incumbent.
It's hard to beat an incumbent, and it's hard to beat. It's hard to leave and come back. For I don't know, what do you call a recycle?
It wasn't,
because you can really compare voting records, and they have a lot of things they can throw at each other over voting records. So it's kind of interesting. Of course, Chad Say was one of the first ones to break quorum for a budget, and he did that with Jason Corley in his first term for no new revenue rate. But that's a lot of the same things. There's really probably not 10% difference between the two, probably how they would vote. But I think a lot of it came down to, my guess is Shallow Water turned out extremely heavy, like I was talking for Jordan Rackler. And it just depends on where some of the turnout was for the city of Lubbock for Chad C. So. Yeah, and the real race tonight is going to be Tracy Baxa and Mary Hernandez in that Justice of the Peace race with Tracy Baxa currently sitting at 619 votes to Mary's 554 votes. It will really depend on Election Day turnout on that one. That thing could be very, very close when we get final numbers, election night numbers in that race. And we're still looking for some votes out of Taylor County and Potter, Randall, and Wichita. Kind of still waiting for those. I have those up, but I don't see anything being posted on their election administrators' websites yet. So no data available in those counties, and we are looking. Hopefully, we'll have something before we go off the air. And it could be, the weather was a factor today. It really was. Yes. I think Lubbock's numbers would have been considerably more. And again, I don't have the final numbers. 5 to 7 might have been a surge. We were just under 5,000 votes at 5:30, I believe, was the last update I got. We could have had a surge. The weather pulled out. Certainly weather's a factor in rural areas, especially where people have to come off of farms and get in town to vote. That does happen, and so that can be a factor. And so that very much could have impacted Election Day turnout. Now, the JP race in Lubbock, I don't think the weather was a factor. We could see some strong Election Day turnouts one way or the other. Secretary of State's now sitting at 430 polling locations statewide, 57% of counties reporting. Ken Paxton in a comfortable lead over John Cornyn so far. Let's see. Let me get back over here to our statewide offices. Mays Middleton, comfortable lead over Chip Roy at 58 to 41%. A little bit of movement there. Both French and Jim Wright. That race is, I think that race is still too close to call. 53 to 46% with only 525,000 votes cast so far. There could be some movement on that race. Let's see. Take a look at the Texas 19 race. I don't expect a lot of movement on it. Still, nothing new to report on it. We'll take a look at another update. And one thing it looks like, I was going to double check this. It looks like Congressman Al Green, who's on redistricting, is going to lose
his Democrat primary. So it looks like his political career is over. So he's not going to be able to shake his cane at President Trump, and he's not going to be able to file, at least right now, and have any traction on any impeachment votes, which he keeps saying that he's going to do. So, but it's kind of where we are. We'll look at some more of the Democrat stuff, see if there's anything worth reporting here in a minute.
Still waiting on the next update. Numbers coming in a little bit slow, but we could have, I don't see any. Let me take a look here. I don't see any Harris County votes being reported. Let me.
Well, considering they're at least a quarter of the total in Texas, we would see that it'd be rather dramatic if it did come in.
Yeah, only 95,000 votes reported from Harris County of their 2.7 million voters. Oh, not a lot there. Let's see, Travis County. I was trying to just look at some of these larger counties, and there may be some large blocks of vote again for John Cornyn out there in some of these more. These
Dallas County was the only large county that I saw that was in the Secretary of State's totals.
Yeah, nothing in from Travis County yet. 900,000 voters there. Tarrant County, only one precinct. They've got 62,000 of their 1.2 million votes in for Tarrant County. And that's, that is Tarrant County. That's Beau French's county there. We'll see how well they turn out. Actually, it's almost. Let's see. I need to switch to a different screen here. We'll see how close it is in that race in Tarrant County. I need a great big screen to look at all this at one time, Ken. It's moving around here.
You only have three in front of you, Steve, and not counting the two televisions.
Yeah, I know. It's not enough. It's not enough. You can't get enough data, enough computers in front of you on election night coverage, and just you and I. Generally, we'd have 3 or 4 people all looking at what we do, folks. Just the sausage making is we kind of divvy up the areas. You look at these set of races, you watch this, and then we just take turns reporting it, and that takes the pressure off. We do have Lubbock County now reporting their numbers. There are 14,927 votes being cast in just looking at the Beau French Jim Wright race so far. I was going to look at Tarrant County in that Choo-Choo Commissioner race. Tarrant County as I expected, 33,000 votes cast so far in Tarrant County for Beau French, 28,000 for Jim Wright. So not a big split in Tarrant County. 1.2 million. They've only got one precinct reporting. I'm not sure how they only get one precinct reports for early vote, but how that number is calculated. But however they do it,
it's still no numbers. I've gone to the various, even checking out the TV stations in those other counties, and still nothing.
Well, and that very well could be they had a lot of voters in line, a lot of last minute waiting on the weather kind of voters, then couldn't get those locations shut down yet. Another update from Secretary of State here in just a few seconds. We'll get you that, and then we'll take our final break of the hour. 61% of the counties currently reporting. Mays Middleton at 58%. I think he's going to run away with it. 500,000 votes cast in that race. Beau French slipped a point, 52 to 47%. 547,000 votes cast in that race. And then, of course, we are watching Senator Cornyn and Ken Paxton. 62-37 right now for Ken Paxton as it sits. And then, of course, the other race we're keeping an eye on. 26,000 votes now cast in the Congressional District 19 race. 64.81% for Tom Sell. 35.19% for Abraham Enriquez. We'll take the final break of the hour. We'll be back to wrap it all up, give you what we've got, and then you're going to be on your own after that. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin hanging out with you. Back in a moment.
that's been in a bad crash, it's no accident. When it backs traffic up for miles, no accident. And if there's a fatality involved, somebody died, that's no accident either. A lot of the time, it was speeding. And it's no accident that speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas, many of them fatal. So slow down, be safe, drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Has anybody told you about Coast to Coast AM tonight?
Coast to Coast is one of those programs that deals with strange mysteries. We'll look at Bigfoot. We'll look at UFOs. We'll look at real science. And we'll also look at conspiracies and what it all means to you, the listeners of Coast to Coast AM.
It's the best in overnight talk radio. Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Tonight at midnight on KFYO.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Wednesday.
Hey, we'll have all the election results statewide and locally. Also how to deal with colleagues who don't return their texts or emails.
And colleagues that have burner phones. Don't forget to stop by Window World of Lubbock, 5004 Frankfort Avenue. Sign up to win in the 20th anniversary celebration giveaway. You could win a storm door in a drawing this Friday morning. It's valued at over $1,800. It's all from Sunrise LBK.
Will do absolutely nothing to help you sleep at night. I'm Kim Commando for ExpressVPN. Every time you go online, you're tracked. Keep your activity private and secure. Right now, get 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. Meta just fired 8,000 people. They're being replaced by AI. They saw it coming. Last month, Meta told them it was happening, gave them the exact date, May 20th. And right on schedule, the axe fell. But here's the part that didn't make the memo. Another 7,000 employees weren't fired. They were reassigned. New titles, new roles, and one very uncomfortable new reality. Every mouse click, every keystroke, every screen, all of it recorded. The data goes straight into train the AI that will eventually replace them too. When a Meta exec was asked if employees could opt out, the answer was nope. This is what the new AI workforce looks like. You train your replacement on the clock, whether you like it or not. Sweet dreams. Join a million folks and get my free newsletter at getkim.com.
Here's something they don't teach you in school. Until the 90s, the U.S. government classified encryption as munition. Literally. It was on the same restricted list as firearms and explosives. They weren't wrong. Encryption is a weapon. It's just one that protects you instead of targeting other people. Every time you go online without a VPN, you're leaving your digital front door wide open. That's why I use ExpressVPN. One-click encrypts your connection. No one, not even your internet provider, can see what you're doing. It's fast, secure, and so easy to use. Traveling, streaming, working remotely, it doesn't matter where you are. Use ExpressVPN on everything. Phones, laptops, tablets. Up to 14 devices on one subscription. That covers the entire family. Your privacy is worth defending. Start with the same tool I use. Get up to 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. expressvpn.com/Kim.
After 98 years, we're still on the air. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Hey, welcome back. Final segment of the evening. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin. Quick check on weather. Wichita Falls, Childress area. The remnants of that storm are headed your way. You're going to get some rain out of this. Some flooding and special weather statements issued around Wichita Falls, Childress. You're going to get quite a bit of rain. Olney, Breckenridge, Stanford, you're going to get a little bit of this too as it comes up towards Wichita Falls. Final numbers. I got one last Secretary of State. You got a little few.
And Wichita County judges, those numbers are in. Mark Dora with 55.5%, Rick Hatcher at 44.5%. That's a pretty substantial difference. Nearly 10 points there for Mark Dora. It's going to be hard to overcome on Election Day.
Okay, last update. I think I'm going to get out of here before we wrap up. Let's see. I got 64% of counties reporting. 516 of the polling locations are in. Ken Paxton running away with it. 62% to John Cornyn's 37%. 590,000 votes in that race so far. Let's see. Let me get to Attorney General. Mays Middleton at 58% to Chip Roy's 41%, 583,000 votes. Beau French slipped just a hair, 52.7 to 47.2. Beau French over Jim Wright, 564,000 votes. Still a lot of votes cast. That could turn over. I'm not sure that'll hold.
I don't think it's going to turn because if Beau French's home county is already in there, Tarrant County.
It's not.
Okay.
Well, part of it is, but he didn't have much of a lead in his home county, just a few points. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that one. Now that is Beau French is a Ken Paxton endorsed candidate, as you brought up earlier, so that will play.
And I don't think Paxton's got much coattails because he actively supported Beau French, and there was a lot of slate candidates out there that had Paxton and French on them together.
Yeah, out in Congressional District 9, Alex Mueller running away so far. Well, a lot of votes still left, but Alex Mueller running away. 69% over Briscoe Cain's 30%. And a final look at the Congressional District 19 race, 27,000, a little over 27,000 of the votes in, 65.2% for Tom Sell, 34.8% Abraham Enriquez. That race is probably over. Election day is probably not going to change that much in the large voting areas. Some of Callahan County already in. I think I saw some Hale County and Hale County we're still waiting. 18,000 voters in Hale County that make a little impact there. That's where we're at. That is going to about wrap up our election coverage. Last quick final thought for you, Ken.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. With Ken Paxton on the ballot for the general, we're going to see an incredible amount of Democrat money come in. And it's going to affect everything up and down the ballot from the governor, lieutenant governor, the attorney general's race. We're going to see tons of stuff come in because the Democrats, it looks like it's going to be Vicki Goodwin and Nathan Johnson are going to take the lieutenant governor and attorney general's races. But even all the way down to Lubbock County, we're going to see Democrat money pour in.
We're going to see a lot of Democrat money pour in. This is going to be my first of many pleas to rock that vote. Folks, get that vote out. November is going to be important. You can go out, become a deputy voter registrar, register voters. Republican turnout is going to be so very important come November. That's what you're going to see me doing. Enjoy being with you today. Always do. I'm Steve Evans. That's Ken Corbin here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Thanks for hanging out with us. Wishing you a very, very good evening. We'll be back tomorrow to analyze all of this data and take a look at how we wound up. But until then, I hope you have a great evening. Thank you, Lord, for the rain. We needed it so bad. See ya.
preceding program was a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the show are not necessarily the views of this station, staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.